Hello, my army friends. I just wanted to film a quick intro to the video you're about to watch. As most of you are probably already aware, the live stream was a bit of a mess that we had this morning. Well, I'll say it was an adventure. Johnny was sick. The video was completely blurry. The movie didn't play right. It was going like 100 times per hour. The slideshow animations that Taylor put together was not animated, that wasn't working. And I forgot to hit record on my own computer until about halfway through. So I apologize. But the good news is I do have the second half and I have added the animation. So all of the things that Taylor had put together in a slideshow, you are about to see as they should have been seen. So you're not missing out on any of that. And if you haven't already, go ahead and pause this and go watch the first 15 minutes of the live stream. And that way you can at least hear our introduction to Brigitte. Bridget, Johnny's not here to cue the music, and our introduction to Taylor, of course. It was a lot of fun. You can't see everything, it's a little fuzzy, but you can at least hear everything. And because we didn't get to actually stop at several points during the Guide to BTS Member video because of the play issues that I was having with QuickTime, you're really not missing anything there. A lot of smiles, a lot of ooh and oh, I didn't know that. So you didn't miss too much as far as that goes. If you want to watch the guide, by all means, go do that. I'll have both the links below, by the way. One to the live, one to Taylor's video. And then what you're about to watch is the whole second half. So it's a good hour, I believe. And be sure to stick around at the end because I added a message from Taylor in case you missed it in the comments from the live feed. Some of the additional information that she kind of had to skip over because we were moving a little too quick as far as our timeline. And I just want to thank you all again for your patience. We posted our very first React video just 9 weeks ago. August 8th was our first React video. So we're still very new to this and we really want to get the whole live experience down. So we're going to try some future approaches to this and hopefully give you guys a better experience down the road. So with all that said, here is part 2 from our Guide to BTS Members with Taylor live. Your skills for storytelling is amazing. You have 9 years of content, and to make that this, you felt like your hand was being held through the connection of the 7, how it unfolded. That was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for everyone in the comments leaving nice comments right now too. I was reading all of them.
Oh, good. Well, we're going to go back and read them because there's too many too fast. I can't read and think and talk at the same time.
Yeah, all the behind the scenes kind of the personal aspects of them you really nailed, and then just their relationship with each other, as it really came across to me,
Well, in that humility, the humbleness of each individual and the vulnerability is something I think we really see lacking in a lot of artists and a lot of success stories. So they had that from the beginning, which most people do, especially when they're starting as early as 15, going into the industry. But then to sustain that throughout success is unfortunately extremely rare. And it's very present in them. And I think that's one of the things that, first of all, allows the 7 of them to coexist for as long as they have, but also to have that genuine connection to their fan base, which, and I'm not knocking other fan bases, but it's often superficial, on some level. It's like, oh, I like that song, I like that voice, whatever. And it's not rooted in the character of the individual, because that character has been manipulated by money and the people surrounding them and success, not because they want it to be, but it's just a human response to a lot of attention. It's hard to maintain that grounding. And I think they have done that, and you captured that in that video. I'm going to go back and watch it again. That was super cool.
Yeah, no, you really get the sense, they're all doing their own things, but you really get the sense that their intention is to come back together because they're really, they love each other's presences and they just love that collaborative process.
So before we move on to like part two, because you prepared a slideshow for us, which I'm really excited about. One thing I missed is, and I'm hoping you can answer this. Was Big Hit looking for 7? Were they like, did they have, this is how many people we want to put in a group, or is that just completely organic? Do you know the answer to that?
I don't know if they had like a set number they wanted to find, but like the way trainee system like worked is that there's tons of them in there and they don't know like when they're gonna have to leave. So I think the original lineup of BTS was not them. Like it was some other rappers with RN.
Really?
And it turned out they weren't a good fit for BTS. I actually think, correct me if I'm wrong, Army, but the person who won first place in that rap contest that Suga was in was originally supposed to be in the lineup for BTS, but he didn't end up fitting in or whatever. I don't know what happened, but yeah. So they kind of just,
definitely.
like, named out people until it was the 7. Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely something I noticed. It seemed like they were kind of putting together like a more of a rap group. Like the first 3 members were rap artists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then it kind of evolved into more melodic, and it's just amazing that they were able to connect the way that they did. And I have to say, I love that the color is purple. Obviously, this is the Throga colors. I think that's, and I work with the 7 dimensions of singing is the technique that I use. So it just seems, just a natural fit to
You fit right in. Yeah.
to connect to the Army, which is super cool. Brigitte, that cue music, Johnny. Brigitte.
Oh, the Sound of Music music?
Yes, the new. So when we say it in German, that is the track. So I'm gonna bring you in. Hello. So you've got 2 theme songs now.
Taylor, I'll think of a better theme song for YouTube. Don't worry.
Was there, before we move to kind of part 2 here, was there any standout questions or anything for Taylor, for us, that I know there was a lot of movement, but I didn't know if there's anything to jump in on?
Honestly, not really. Just people kind of, everybody's seen this video like tons of times. It's not their first time they're seeing it for most people, which is cool. No, I'm mostly just kind of throwing bits of information on top of what we saw on screen. But yeah, that's kind of it. And everybody loves the video, obviously. Taylor, you saw that in the video, so.
Okay, yeah. Good. So we'll go back then and just read through and learn new bits of information based on what's there. By the way, I was really surprised at Jimin's voice, because we only watched Like Crazy. That's the only thing that we've heard his voice in.
And that was the very first exposure we had to any of the members, so we didn't really know what to expect. We didn't expect to be here at this point watching this.
It was like 2 months ago. Maybe not even. Crazy, just
been quite the journey.
So we're definitely going back. Like I heard some things in his voice that was really unique, very separate from the other 6, and just some of the frequency that he's singing. So I'm excited to kind of dissect that. Okay.
And personality-wise, knowing their individual personalities helps so much too. Like I want to go back and listen with that new knowledge of just who they are as people.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
And collectively on stage, which we still have yet to actually experience as well. So we are super newbies. But let's switch over to another screen here. So this is kind of our part 2 here. Is this the first slide, Taylor? Do I have the correct one up?
Yes.
So I'm going to give you the floor, and then I can just move through the slides when you tell me to do so. So if you want to go ahead and catch us up here a little bit.
Okay, so for Army, I'm going to go through this like very basically and fast because they don't have like an hour to do this. So I'm just going to like gloss over it. But so right after I posted this first guide, they released an anthology album called Proof. So it contains 3 CDs, including their BTS group songs, unit songs and also solo songs within BTS albums.
Okay.
And it's from their whole 9 years of history. So we got 3 new tracks, Yet to Come, For Youth, and Run BTS with this album. And Proof became their 6th #1 album on the Billboard 200 chart.
Okay.
Next
So when you say
slide,
tracks, so
please.
it's literally just the 3 songs? Like those are the singles released from it? Or
Those are the 3 new songs out of the whole album. The rest are previously released, but yeah, just combined.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So next slide.
So Festa is like a about 2-week celebration leading up to their debut anniversary day in June. At the 2022 Festa dinner is when they announce their shift in focus from group activities to solo activities. And of course they made it clear that it wasn't a disbandment, but media and all that was very
They're all freaking
not
out.
great about it. Yeah, and armies were like, what's going on? Like, of course we trust them, but we're like, this is all just so shocking, you know?
Is that
So
in
they
response
describe
to
this
having to
time-
do the, sorry to interrupt, is that in response to just having to do the military, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
service.
I think it's a combination of them needing to do their own self-discovery and find their own color, but it's also the perfect time to do this solo venture, as they do also have to do military, and they always emphasize that they're not BTS without 7 of them. So it's timed perfectly where they don't have to be without a member and do BTS, you know.
That makes sense.
So I think it worked out. They describe this time as a comma, not a period. So basically, they just need this time to figure out their own colors, so that when they come back as a group, it'll be a group of strong colors, and they'll be able to go on for even longer. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
that's what this time is about. And this tattoo in the middle, those are friendship tattoos that they all got. It's a number 7 to signify their loyalty to each other, I guess.
Nice. Now, how many army went out and
okay.
got that tattoo?
Right.
Next slide, yeah. So Army, I'm going in order of solo album release. So I'm starting with J-Hope. This is not going to be in chronological order, so just keep that in mind. Next slide, please. So J-Hope's debut solo album was called Jack in the Box. It kind of has a theme of Pandora's Box, which I mentioned in the first guide is where J-Hope's name kind of originated from. His title tracks were More and Arson, which I think you guys have both heard.
Yep.
And Rolling Stone ranked it at number 9 on their 100 best albums of 2022 list.
Wow.
Very cool.
Next slide, please. Later that month, he was the headliner, the first ever Korean artist to be a headliner at Lollapalooza, and attracted an audience of 100,000 people, making it the biggest crowd in Lollapalooza's 30-year history.
So they held out a little too long before they brought in a Korean artist. Obviously, they made the right decision. That's crazy.
Sorry, go back.
Oh, sure.
One slide. So the first release of Jack in the Box did not have a physical CD. So he also planned the Hope edition, which is a physical CD, and it includes live versions of his songs from Lollapalooza.
Oh, nice.
And also he made the documentary documenting his album making process and preparation for this performance.
Very cool. I'm
Okay,
seeing in the
now
comments.
next slide.
Awesome.
Hope-a-palooza.
Oh yeah, Hobie Palooza is what it was nicknamed. So the Mnet Asian Music Awards, or Mama Awards, is one of the biggest in Korea. And J-Hope attended as a performer. He also won the individual award for most popular artist And he also collected 6 awards for BTS, as the other members couldn't be there. And one of them was a new award called Mama Platinum, which is for artists who win 4 day songs or grand prizes at the same time. And BTS are the only and first artists to have done this, and they've done so for 3 years in a row.
How good are you that you invent an award is invented for you because there wasn't enough regular awards?
Yeah,
it just reminds me of like Beatlesque type domination over the industry. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So, actually, a cute little moment is like Jin was about to enlist in the military, so that's why he wasn't there. But J-Hope like called him on the phone, and Jin gave the acceptance speech through the phone to like talk to Army.
Oh, that's what that image is. That's awesome.
Yeah. And also, J-Hope performed at New Year's Rockin' Eve.
Oh, okay, yeah, nice.
He also did collabs with other Korean artists. So he did Rush Hour with Crush. And he also became an official ambassador for Louis Vuitton.
Very nice.
And next.
Rocking the attire there.
Yeah. And he also released On the Street with J. Cole, which is like his muse. And that was like his See You Later song before enlisting in April. And he does like write letters to us occasionally.
How long is their service for? Is there like a set time, I assume, for each member? Or
active duty is 18 months. So
18,
October
wow.
2024 is when he'll be back.
And how come they're all staggered? Does that have to do with their age, like their birth date kind of thing, or?
Yeah. So they're in Korea. The rule is like by 28 you're supposed to enlist, but they got like a special. It's nicknamed the BTS law because basically only BTS are eligible for this.
Makes sense.
But they can defer. Yeah, they can defer until 30. So Jin was about to turn 30, and so he went first. Now Jacob's kind of just following. Yeah.
Okay.
He's not the second oldest, but they're kind of just trying to go at the same time so they can get it over with faster, I think.
Sure.
To become a full group. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next is Jin.
Jin.
Worldwide handsome.
So he didn't have as much time as others since he had to enlist right away. So he did a CD single. It had like a physical album and everything. And it was a collaboration with Coldplay. The single took #1 on the digital song sale chart and gave Jin his first Hot 100 entry as a solo artist.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
nice.
Next slide, please. So he kicked off his solo work by receiving the individual award for Fan and Star Choice at the Fat Music Awards.
You start your solo career with an award. Only BTS.
That's nice.
He also did a lot of variety show content, so YouTube shows and making his own little series on traditional alcohol making with his famous Korean chef friends.
Cool.
Next slide, please. He also did collaborations with companies. So Maple Story is made by Nexon. That's his favorite game, and he went to their office for a day and was an office worker. And then he also is an ambassador for Gin Ramen for obvious reasons.
Did Gin Ramen existed prior to him? So
yeah.
it was a match to his name.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I didn't know if it was they made a product for him because they could do a product line.
They could. Yeah.
I didn't know which came first.
Yeah.
And yes, Jin was the first member to enlist, and he occasionally leaves a video for us every month. So he pre-filmed those and releases them so that we don't miss him too much.
Nice.
And Jin and J-Hope are actually excelling in the military, as they do everywhere they go. but they were selected for assistant training instructors, and they got special elite class warrior title. I'm not familiar with Korean military ranks, but apparently that's kind of hard to get, and it's like based on physical fitness and mental resilience that you demonstrate. So
Well, there's
they're
no
just
surprise
excelling
there.
everywhere.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, their physical training between dance and singing and stage presentation, their routine for practice. I mean, one thing's very clear even without seeing your video, this was obvious that they're disciplined. I mean, you have to work to succeed. I mean, opportunity can be bought, but success is earned, and they clearly have done that. And in the video, you could see their work ethic and the mental training, especially in the rise of fame and the throes of success. Like we said,
Yeah, it wasn't an overnight success. Yeah.
no, to maintain a sense of, keep their ego in check and everything. I'm not surprised that they would excel in anything like this.
Mm-hmm.
Next is RM.
I never would have guessed what
leader.
RM stood for.
Rap monster.
That's great.
And he's sort of seen as the leader in the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was the third member to release his solo album called Indigo. And he describes it as like an archive of his late 20s, with the title tracks being Wildflower and Still Life. I think you guys saw Wildflower, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So his album had a ton of features, including like Anderson .Paak, Erykah Badu,
Okay.
Korean artists like Tableau from Epic High. And with Wildflower at number 1, RM ruled the top 8 positions of the World Digital Song Sales chart simultaneously.
The top 8.
So matching the vibe of his album, which is like very personal and intimate, he chose more intimate venues. So Rolling Hall is kind
That's
of like
right,
a small
yeah.
venue of about 250 people. And it was his dream venue as like a young artist before all this. So he performed there with a small group of ARMY, very lucky ARMY.
Right.
And
we
also,
love that. And we
he
watched-
loves art.
Yeah, we watched the one song from that, and the Wildflower, and that intimate vibe was just such a cool thing. And then Army filled us in, why that was selected, and I just can't imagine reconnecting to that childhood dream and living it.
Yeah.
That's so wild. So what were you saying with art?
Oh, as I said in the first guide, he like loves art. So he did live performances of his songs at Dia Beacon, is that how you say it, in New York, the art museum.
Mm.
So
That's
that
cool.
was very fitting to his personality and everything.
And he's the one with the 148 IQ. Was that something like that?
Yes. Very intelligent, yes.
Yeah.
He also featured in other Korean artist songs, so Sexy New Kim with Bombing Tiger, Smoke Sprite with Soyoon, and Don't Ever Say You Love Me with Cold, who also featured on his album.
Oh, nice.
Next slide, please. So outside of music, he also was a co-host on Dictionary of Useless Human Knowledge. So it's basically like people in different fields like physicists, scientists, astronomer, etc., sitting and talking about like the different perspectives of humans based on their career.
Mm.
So he was on that show. Of course, he could contribute because he's very smart.
Right.
Also, he became appointed as an ambassador for South Korea's Ministry of National Defense Agency for Killed in Action Recovery and Identification. So they basically help identify the remains from the Korean War and return it to their families.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Also,
Makes sense why they all seem to look up to him, too, all the members.
mhm. Also, he became the first ever ambassador for Bottega. Apparently, they have not had ambassadors before him, so
Oh.
he is the first.
Good choice.
Yeah.
All right, Jimin is next.
So Jimin's debut album is called Face, and he said it kind of includes some of the thoughts and struggles he felt during the pandemic years. So the title tracks were Set Me Free Part 2 and Like Crazy, which is a song that made Jimin the first Korean soloist in history to debut at #1 on Billboard Hot 100.
Wow.
Yeah, we've had a lot of requests for Set Me Free Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the prominent one.
Yep.
It's a great performance song.
Yeah.
So Jimin's title tracks were very large-scale performances, so he did more shows where he could highlight that, like Jimmy Fallon. Also, a lot of music shows and Studio Chum, where they specialize in filming choreography videos. Yeah. Next
Nice.
slide, please. He also collaborated on some other songs. So he did Vibe with Taeyang from Big Bang, who are a little bit older, but also very popular K-pop group. He was a big fan of him since debut, so it was kind of like a dream for him to work with him. So that's cool. And Angel Part 1 and 2 were for the Fast and Furious soundtrack,
Oh,
the
okay.
newest one.
Oh,
So that was with like Charlie Puth, Money Long, Jake, some others. There was like 10 people on this track. But
yeah.
he also won, actually like just like a week ago, he became the first and only soloist in history to win the Idol Plus Popularity Award at the FACT Music Awards.
Nice.
Next
Very
slide,
The
please.
award count is just, it's just going to continue to stack.
I
You
know.
know? Especially, can you imagine after all the individual solo albums are released and then coming back as that group? I mean, that's going to be insane.
I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
He also became a global ambassador for both Dior and Tiffany, and he attends company events and even attended Paris Fashion Week, where he got to attend with J-Hope, who was there for Louis Vuitton.
Nice.
Next slide, please. This is upcoming, not released yet, but it will be next week or soon. He's
Really
releasing a
soon, yeah.
documentary, on his album making process. So that will be coming soon. Look out for it.
Ooh, we might have to take a little gander at that. We love behind the scenes stuff. I mean, so that
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's gonna be right up our alley.
Yep.
Next is Suga.
Oh, the beast of a tone.
Yeah.
So Suga's debut album is called D-Day, and he actually revealed that it was the ending to a trilogy from his past two mistakes, which was August D and D2, and then it'll finish with D-Day. So he did a lot of collaborations in this album as well with Korean artist IU and Ruichi Sakamoto, who is a Japanese composer, and even J-Hope from BTS. So next slide, yeah. Suga did his first solo tour with 28 total stops in the US, Asia, and Korea. He played piano, guitar. He had guest appearances like Halsey, who he's worked with a lot, and Psy, who did Gangnam Style.
The only
His
instrument
D-Day-
I think we've seen any of the members play so far was Jin playing piano.
Saxophone.
No, we haven't seen V play sax. We haven't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
you talk. Okay, right. As
Yeah,
far
I'm
as
just
the video
saying
we
in
watch,
general.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to see more of them, apply their skills to other instruments as well. I had no idea.
I really
that-
got I really got a kick out of
I
the
think-
background information for Suga too. You know, the fact he's a little shy and like he has a hard time expressing himself sometimes.
Yes. It is just so aggressive in his music. At least the
Yeah.
bits that we've seen.
I think it's called the Band Live. V plays a little bit of the saxophone. If
Okay.
you want to go watch that, I'm sure Armies can send you to the right video.
Yes, please.
But yeah, the members also play, like Jin can play guitar. Jimin also plays guitar. I think all the members kind of play a little bit of something.
Mm-hmm.
What was I talking about?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry, I got.
Oh no,
Threw off.
I'm just like lost here. Okay.
Well, so you're saying that he was
next slide,
touring
please.
and that he played multiple instruments in his 20 tour stop.
Yes. I think it's the next slide.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. On the supposed last day of his tour, he announced 3 encore dates, also in Seoul. So he actually brought a different BTS member on stage for every night. He did one song with them and then left the stage and let them perform their new song by themselves. So that was pretty cool of an artist to do that at their own show, to give another person the stage. But that's how much he loves them. So
Yeah.
just noting that V did not release his album yet during this, so that's why V wasn't a performer. But he did attend the show to watch Yoongi.
That's very cool.
Also, J-Hope and Jin attended, even though they were both in the military. I guess they took a vacation day to be there for Suga's last show. Also, the most iconic part of the show. So basically, the show starts with rain and him lying down, just like how Amygdala ends, I think. So
we read about this. I know where you're going.
Oh,
yeah. Well, the army filled us in a little bit. So it comes from. It's it's where he's reaching for the door. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Keep going. I got excited.
So in the music video, he reaches for the door but can't open it. But at the final day of D-Day, the door appeared and he opened it and waved with a smile and walked through. So that signifying kind of the end and a new beginning for him. Yeah.
Getting the help that he needed, being able to not feel stuck and trapped. And I can't imagine how powerful that must have been. So that was only the last show of the tour. It wasn't at the end of each concert?
No, only the last.
That makes it even more insane.
Also, another iconic thing, Yoongi had been, Suga. I call him by their real name, so.
We're still learning
Suga,
the multiple ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it easy for us.
Sorry, Suga. Suga had been hiding his friendship tattoo for almost a year probably, and everyone was asking where it was. But on the final day, he finally casually revealed it. And it's in kind of a very significant place because it's his shoulder that got injured. So he put it right above. I don't know if you can see, but there's a little scar.
I do, yeah. And it was was it a bike accident? Like a car hit him or something like that, or what was?
Yeah, he was a delivery boy before, and I guess he hit another car or something. But yeah, it caused a lot of traumatic experience, and he had to deal with that pain for a really long time. He only got it fixed in 2020, so it's kind of recent.
Wow.
And he also has a documentary on his album making.
Gotcha.
As mentioned in the guide, he likes basketball. He became ambassador for the NBA. He even has his own clothing line with them. It says August D in the back.
Nice.
Well, they're all very good-looking gentlemen, so I'm not surprised that they have all these modeling contracts.
I'm sure Jin will be snatched up right as he's getting out.
Of course.
A lot of the members are ambassadors for Samsung, but he's kind of the most active. He is in a lot of campaigns. He's done songs for them before, and he also promoted their phones while he was on tour even. And he's also an official global ambassador for Valentino.
Cool.
Next slide, please. So he also did collabs for the video game Diablo with Halsey. He also created his own alcohol drinking talk show was just like a casual chat. He initially created it because he thought the members would need like a comfortable place to promote their albums, but it's kind of extended to a bunch of athletes and actors and other idols. So all the members have been on, but there's going to be more.
And that's like an ongoing
out.
thing that he's doing?
Mm-hmm. He is enlisted at this point as the next video shows, picture shows, but he pre-filmed a lot of things, and I'm not sure how many, but it's going to keep going on for a little while.
Oh, I gotcha.
And Yoongi, because of his shoulder, is doing alternative service, so he is 21 months instead of 18. Next slide, V. So V's debut album was Layover, which he described as like a simple but sincere expression of his heart. And the packaging is supposed to signify like expressed his want to like hand deliver each one to everyone's house.
Oh, that's cool.
So it looks like delivery packaging. V now ties with Jimin and Suga as the highest charting Korean soloists in the Billboard chart history, with Layover debuting at number 2 on Billboard 200.
Amazing. And that was his short album, right? So is it only 5 songs total?
It's 6 songs, but one is another version of a song.
Okay, so 5 brand new songs and then one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because we listened to 3 in the Tiny Desk, but we haven't heard the studio production of them yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they all had music videos. That's something I forgot to mention.
Oh, okay.
That was different from everyone else.
Yeah, that's the performance we saw.
And to match the vibe of his very stripped down songs, he did kind of intimate performances. So he did the ones with the live band, which you saw.
Mm-hmm.
And he did, it's called The First Take, I think, where it's just like an empty room and you have one take only to record you singing. And that's one of the things he did. He also did music shows where he even brought his dog, Yontan, on stage.
Awesome.
And actually, like 1 or 2 days ago, he did a fan meet, and he even invited Jimin to come. So they played games with ARMY, he did performances with them, and just hung out for a few hours.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, they're really good with their fans. That's really great to see.
Mm-hmm.
And while the others were taking turns, like releasing their solo albums, he kept busy by doing show series. So he did In the Soup with his friend group, the Woga Squad. They're like made up of famous actors and some other musical artists. I don't know if you watch Parasite, but the actors in Parasite are those guys.
No, okay.
Yeah, I have seen
Jimmy's
that.
Oh, do you know, I think he's like the main character, but Rushik, he's one of these good friends in there.
Okay, was that the brother?
I think so. I haven't watched Parasite, so I don't know. But.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
He also did Ginny's Kitchen, which followed the group. They're all like actors. To Mexico, where they ran a restaurant for a little while.
Okay.
And he also did other content like song covers, jazz covers, and even one where he like surprised ARMY and had a little date with them.
Oh, that's
a little
cool.
Fun day out. Yeah. Next slide. He also has new ambassadorships. Sim Invest, an Indonesian investment company, and global ambassador for Celine and Cartier.
Because why not?
Yeah.
Next slide, please. Jungkook. So Jungkook is actually in the middle of promoting his album right now. So it's coming out on November 3rd. The track list was released a few hours ago, and it has like a lot of artist names like Ed Sheeran, Shawn Mendes, Major Lazer. I don't know if they're singing or if they're just writers, but they were on there. And he also mentioned that the album's going to be in English.
Okay.
Because he mentioned, I think in a Bangtan bomb or something, that he wants to be an artist that can do like K-pop and Western pop and all these different genres. So I think
Conquer
he's
the
trying
world.
to branch out. Yeah, he was already conquered K-pop, so he's moving on.
Yeah,
you know?
no, and he can. There's no doubt. And I'm losing track a little bit. So how many? So we have Jungkook is on November 3rd, and whose was coming out on October 23rd?
Jimin's documentary.
Jimin's documentary. Okay. So how many solo albums have been released so far?
One for each member.
So there is already. So this isn't this is a second solo album?
Oh, for Jungkook, this is the first.
Okay. So all the others already have
And
a solo album.
Well, the ones I mentioned today are their first.
Okay. I was just losing
The
track.
other ones mentioned in the first guide are considered mixtapes. So the ones today they're considered debut solo albums.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. And by the way, nice job. I mean, a few hours ago, they listed information and you're including it into this. You are on top of things.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was up here updating it as I go.
That's amazing.
Oh, I also forgot to mention he's going to do a live performance of Golden on November 20th. That's another date for you to remember.
Very cool.
So before announcing this album, he already released 2 singles, which are going to be on the album, but we didn't know that back then. So that's 7 with Lotto, which was number 1 on the Hot 100, and 3D with Jack Harlow, which was number 5 on the Hot 100. Next slide, please. By the way, those songs are like doing extremely well, and they're still charting on Billboard charts. I just like couldn't find all the information for it.
No, that's great.
So,
Yeah.
as far as performances go, he did Dreamers for the FIFA World Cup 2022, and even flew to Qatar to perform it live for the opening ceremony with Fahad, who's
Nice.
from Qatar. And hold on, I lost where I was. He was also a co-headliner for the Global Citizens Festival, where he performed 7 with Lotto and performed some of his past solo songs and some BTS songs.
Nice. There's so many of these songs that we've seen 100 times in the comments,
I
but
know.
haven't heard yet.
Yeah.
Jungkook also collabed with Charlie Puth, who he's worked with before for Left and Right. And there's also another new release on October 20th, which is even closer, with Kid Laroi and Central C, called Too Much.
Nice.
Yeah. They're definitely collaborating with some heavy hitters.
And of course, he's got an ambassadorship too. So he's the global ambassador for Calvin Klein. And he's also been very famous during this period for doing Weverse Lives, extremely long Weverse Lives, where he's done laundry, he's shown card tricks, he's fallen asleep on live with us, he's cooked, he's worked out. He's like basically just treating us like his best friend on FaceTime while he lives his life. So that's
that is awesome.
So
He's
with all
also
these ambassador, agreements and licensing with these different major companies, are you suggesting that we are not the first one to recognize how gorgeous they all are? I feel like we came a little late to the party. Sorry, you were saying, and also what?
No, Jungkook's Calvin Klein really shook the world.
Do they get mobbed everywhere they go, or is it?
Army etiquette is to like not ever film them or look at any pictures taken that are on private schedule. They do get mobbed at the airport, but that's something that's a little controversial. Yeah.
That's nice that there's that they can have a little bit of an escape, off stage. So it's not just because that's not the way it is here. The big celebrities, it's just constant attention, and I think that really negatively affects so many of them. So it's cool that they can have their own autonomy. Yeah,
it gets out of hand. I was on tour because I was working with Big Time Rush for a while, and I was on the road with them. And sometimes the moms are crazier than the kids. It's like, are you here for the band, or did you bring your child? And they're like
Yeah.
jumping in front of buses and everything. So I saw the same thing with One Direction. It's just out of hand. So to have that respect for the, humanitarianism of the individual is just
Yeah.
something that gets lost here often. So I love hearing that.
Yeah.
Also want to emphasize that, like, as this is the end of my solo activity era presentation, I want to emphasize that, like, all the members were always there for each other during their solo schedules. So even though they weren't scheduled to be together, they would show up at each other's performances, recordings, practices, to just like give each other encouragement and support. So yeah, that's what this slide is just for.
That's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a group, so I don't want to call this time like a hiatus, because really it's just they were still active during this time. So that's why I don't use that word. But
Sure.
they did the Yet to Come in Busan concert for the 2030 World Expo in October. So they were appointed ambassadors for the bid for the 2030 World Expo concert. I think there's like 5 other countries also bidding to host this event.
Wow.
So BTS are kind of there to attract some good attention, I guess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they held this completely free concert
That's amazing.
Nice.
in Busan. I actually went to Busan, but I didn't have a ticket in the concert.
Oh no.
I feel like they should allow you in for free, though.
Oh, I
Agreed.
wish. And hold on, I lost it. So if you add the TV broadcast, Weverse live stream, and the concert audience, there are about 50 million people worldwide that watched that concert. Just as a little stat, because I thought that was amazing.
Mm.
They also turned it into a concert movie, which was in the theaters.
Ooh. Smart.
So, sorry, go back one slide.
Oh yeah, of course.
So June 2023 marked their 10-year anniversary. So they did like a huge celebration called BTS Presents Everywhere, and about 400,000 people came to the park to celebrate their anniversary. RM did a kind of radio live show, and Jungkook narrated about a 30-minute BTS fireworks show at the end. So it was just this huge thing of the whole city turning purple for BTS. Even landmarks turned purple for BTS.
That is super cool.
Next slide, please. They also released the single Take Two for their anniversary, 10th anniversary, which was recorded before the members enlisted, so all 7 were in it. The single debuted on number 1 on the Billboard Global 200 chart, and then the vocal line also collabed with Benny Blanco and Snoop Dogg for Bad Decisions,
Wow.
which gave them their 10th BTS song to reach the top 10 of Hot 100. They also did The Planet for the animated series Bastion, which is like a kid show, I think, for superheroes that save the environment.
Oh, that's cool. No, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Last slide. So all 7 members have now broke into the Hot 100 chart as solo artists. And
Of course.
even during this era, BTS continued to be the most awarded group at some award shows, like Mama 2022, and I think this year's Fact Awards, they were also the most awarded group. They also released a book called Beyond the Story of their 10 years of history, and it became the first book by a Korean author to reach number 1 on New York bestseller list. And then contract renewal. A few weeks ago, they announced that all 7 members have renewed their contracts with Big Hit. So that's to continue team activities in 2025.
And that reinforces the
And-
whole idea that, the comma versus the period, right? Where they're coming back as a group and everything. So
Yeah.
RM, I guess, was excited about it, and he even posted like a snippet of the contract on his Instagram story with that little message. And Big Hit also donated 1 billion won to UNICEF in BTS and ARMY's name for this event. And ARMY's saw that and were like, we should donate as well. And so ARMY's donated another, I think, about $300,000 to UNICEF. So we just added on top of their 1 billion won.
Wow.
that's just incredible.
Yeah. It's like a movement. It's
It
great. It's such a
really-
positive.
It
Yeah.
really is. Taylor, this was amazing. That was the last slide, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for putting that together. And I apologize. I know you worked so hard, and a lot of them are animated GIFs. I'm going to try to find a way to to put that back in post. I'm not sure what I can do. What did I want to say? There's several things. One thing I wanted to say real quick is, you were just talking about how the Army just steps up, right? So that they're just so involved, and even in the guide that we watched, talk about how involved they are, and not just taking action in bigger movements, but just they're protective of their seven and everything. I'm just gonna kind of confess is too strong of a word, but early on, Johnny and I were a little hesitant of even doing a single BTS song because, friends were
How
like,
fiercely loyal there.
yeah, it's just like, I don't know if you wanna take on any BTS songs, because if they don't like you, you'll be kicked off of YouTube. I mean, not that dramatic, but they truly are a powerful group. And now, as we've gone down the rabbit hole, we understand why, because of the sincerity behind the music and the individual members and the collaboration of it. So I just wanted to say real quick to an Army member, to you in representative of the whole of everybody's that watching, that we appreciate your patience in kindness in kind of allowing us into this, because you you being a part of this broadcast, for example, it's just like, we're incredibly appreciative of that. But
Yes.
I'm hoping that's a reflection that you saw that we're being respectful to the music and taking an active interest, because we were a little nervous. Those first few that we did before we hit posters, like, should we post this? What if I don't know if we're going to get in trouble because we said this or we asked about this. So, I mean, we feel humbled and
In our naivete. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like, what do you call us? They're American babies. I think, Johnny, they refer to us as, we don't know anything about K-pop. So we just appreciate you guys, helping us along for the ride. Brigitte, I think I'm probably already saying it wrong again, just sent me a text to bring her in. So I'm going to bring you in, Bridget. Hello.
Yeah.
Hey.
I am back. Just a couple of things like that. First of all, Tara, this was awesome. The presentation you did, great. Thanks. And
Thank
then just a couple of comments, like Army left us. They were like, "Can you clear up this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do that." So first thing about like what RM stands for. It started out as Rap Monster, and then later on he was like, "Okay, we're gonna," like, he changed it to, it's now Real Me. And he capped like RM for him to be able to redefine it if he ever wants to, kind of. Does that make sense?
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was one thing that changed over time. So kind of the RM doesn't stand for Rap Monster anymore. It stands for Real Me. And then also in terms of him being, you mentioned him being seen as the leader, he's actually officially they have like their set positions in the group, and he is like officially the leader. Like, he's in charge of, like, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, but kind of like being as like the spokesperson to like between members and company if ever needed, but also between like the band and the media and stuff, like for interviews and stuff. So that's kind of like it isn't a role that he was actively selected for.
That's amazing. So it's not like just big hit is controlling everything and they're just like give like these superficial titles. He's actively a part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Again,
all
so
seem to have their
again-
very specific roles. Yeah, vital roles.
Yeah, and then there was a question which I wanted to bring in, and people were asking, like, after seeing all this, like, from what you mentioned in terms of your biases and bias records and whatnot, after seeing, like, this documentary, people are like, did anything change in terms of bias, like, now?
Did anything change in one day?
Yeah. It can happen just like that, I'll have you know.
Well,
but yeah.
I mean, as I mentioned with like Jimin, it's like we saw the one video like crazy. So just speaking for myself, I did not get all those different like characteristics of his tone in that single song that we saw in the other. So I'm sure it's going to evolve. It's going to be really hard pressed to change my mind on Suga's tone because it just appeals to like the imbalanced rock thing. I mean, I started out singing I started out as a drummer. I was doing like rock, hard rock, metal stuff like, Metallica and Pantera and just like Megadeth, like all crazy hard rock stuff as a drummer. And then I transitioned into singing. I had a love for Broadway and these different styles of music. So like on just a fundamental level of tone and excitement and edge, I love his sound. Not to say that the others can't get edgy too. I just haven't really heard that as a whole. And then, as far as the other singers, melodic singers in terms of Jimin, V, and Jungkook, they all have really unique skill sets and in different pockets of the range that stand out. So that one I'm a little more of I don't know as far as like really what tone stands out singing wise. But Suga's actual just straight up tone, and not a rap guy, still not a rap guy, but I'm a Suga guy, if that's a thing. Johnny, what about you?
Yeah, well, I think we've touched upon this. It's hard to, with one listen through for something brand new, it's hard to like take it all in. So as far as our sort of just off the cuff, like, oh, I like this guy best, and this guy's tone or whatever. It's hard to say, and I think that's going to continue to evolve. But I will say, and this might be an easy answer, but like I truly just like them all more now. Just like seeing their personalities, like because they're all so unique, and I like it. But they're all very genuine. Sorry, I'm so sick. I'm sorry, guys.
Thank you for being with us. It's been a rough day with illness and tech issues. But we're
Oh
here.
my gosh. But yeah, I just love how genuine they are. I love how fun they are. I love how loyal they are to each other and to the fans, and how they have not forgotten their beginnings, because they all had humble beginnings. It wasn't an overnight success story. It was starting when they're 10 years old, 13 years old. It's like, and starting from the bottom and then growing into that, and then continuing to recognize the importance of each other for that journey, and how they all play such a vital role to each of their successes collectively and as a group. And I think it's just so cool. They're all setting records as solo artists, and they could easily go in their own directions, but they still want to come back to each other, which they don't have to do that.
Right.
And they seem to want to do that, and I love that.
And the fact that you've got like RM and Suga like producing tracks as a whole and individually, like their crossover, helping each other out in that is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to throw that back to you, Taylor and Brigitte. What are your biases? Taylor,
Do you
you
want to
first.
go first? Oh, me first? Okay.
Go.
I always say this, but I don't have a bias. It's whoever I'm looking at in that very second, because it literally changes by whatever I saw last. So yeah,
Well, because the
I
song
agree.
itself,
love all.
the song itself can consume your attention, and that becomes your focus. I get that. Bridget?
Yeah, it's kind of the same, super OT7, but like kind of leaning towards Jimin though. I love well, the way he expresses himself through like everything, and then his personality. But yeah, it's hard to choose. Like this is the way people were complaining about having to make song choices. This is like 10 times worse.
Well,
So
I know.
yeah, kind of, it's the same. Like it changes.
I know we pissed off a lot of people. Are like, pick one of these 5 songs. We're like, I'm sorry, but there's only so many things we can react to at once.
Yeah.
But we're going to keep coming back, and the fact that they're continuously going to be releasing more music. I mean, we have a lot of other artists. We've got kind of back catalog a little bit, and many of them were recommended by Army too. So we're going to start cycling them in a little bit. But by no means are we going to stop reacting to BTS songs. And that reminds me, while I'm on the topic, this coming weekend we're going to have another announcement video. So look out for that. There's 2 things with it. One is we are going to react to more than one song. We're going back to check out a few, all in one video. So that's coming up soon. And in that video, we're also announcing our first contest called Join the Reaction, where we're going to give you guys a little bit of a scavenger hunt in our videos. And if you can find the first one to find what we are going to ask for gets to join us in an actual reaction. So you and a friend can join us just like we have Taylor and Bridget here today, and you get to pick any song you want and join us as Johnny and I react to that song. So we thought that'd be a lot of fun for you guys. So that's going to be coming out later this week. I don't know if there's anything else that we need to get to. I know we've been online for a couple hours, and I'm really hoping the video clears up on replay. Hopefully that's taken care of. If I have to, I'll go back and repost some things that were recorded on my end. We'll see what we can do there. But I just want to thank you, Bridget, for clearing up your name. Brigitte? Am I saying it?
Which you're not at
I'm
all
not.
paying attention to, but at least you know.
I'm still off.
See, I lucked out because we call each other cuz, so it's easy for me. I'm
It's
just
so
going to continue
much
to call you
easier.
cuz.
I'm just going to go to Brie. No, that doesn't
Yeah,
feel right.
we're not related, by the way.
Feel
We just, for some reason, we started calling each other cousin.
When we
Because-
met, since we were talking, when we met at a retreat. I started out as a singer. Are we telling the story?
Yeah,
Can I
go
tell
ahead.
it?
Do it.
Okay, cool. So I started out as a voice student. I'm a singer, and then I started out as a singing
Wonderful
student
singer
with
and
Richard. We met
pianist.
online. Yeah. And then over time I became a vocal coach for Throga, which I'm not currently actively working with. But anyways. And then I met Richard used to organize singing retreats, which was the absolute best thing. So I went to one, like all the way from Paraguay to in Orlando. We had one.
Mhm.
In May 2019, and that's where I met Johnny, and he reminded me so much of my cousin that I was just like, you're gonna be my cousin from now on. That's why we call each other cuz. Like the names got lost right there.
I love it.
But what is the German word for cuz?
Let's not even open that Pandora's box.
No, but it's pretty much the same. It's cousin.
Oh, it's so much easier.
So we're
Or
good.
Or does it sound like croissant? and now we're back to the baguettes.
Beauty and the Beast, yes, right.
Yes. So really, it's the same song works. Taylor, thank you again for your time, your energy, and being here. We are, again, humbled and honored that you said yes and joined us.
Yeah,
Johnny is going to
amazing.
continue to work on a theme song for you. So we can invite you back for another event. Maybe we can watch a documentary or one of the things coming up together. That would be a lot of fun.
Should I do like an original song for her? Ooh, like a tailor-made song for Taylor?
She deserves an original song.
She
That would
does.
be
Yes.
so cool. Yeah.
Okay,
I
I'm
would
gonna,
love
Alright.
that.
so in the chats, give us some lyrics. In just a single line, tell us your thoughts on Taylor. Okay? And we can use that as some lyrics to put together a little theme song. Now, when I say we, I mean I'm assigning Johnny to do this. So I already did my part of this. I just
Yeah,
organized
and maybe-
the concept.
Maybe wait till I have a voice and I can sing it for you.
Fair enough.
Actually,
This is
this
actually
is
something Jungkook did to make a song. He did
Really?
this on live.
Yeah.
He asked Army, put lyrics in the comments, and he made a song. So
And he released
you guys
it
fit right
now.
in.
Like, it's
Everything you
literally-
do fits right in.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So no, this is cool because on top of this being an educational video on BTS, it's also an educational video of if you want to learn how to sing lower notes, just get sick.
Just get sick.
Yeah.
Although there is a sacrifice on the higher note, so there's always a cost.
Right,
Always
there
a
is.
cost. So once again, thank you everybody, and thank you to the Army for joining us. We appreciate the likes and the subscribes and the comments and the super thanks. All that stuff helps us stay motivated and connected, and we're having a ball. And look out towards the end of this week for the contest rules for Join the Reaction. We're hoping to have you on with us. I think that'll be super fun. And I think that's it. So
Yes, thank you so much, everyone involved, all the fans.
thank you,
and Taylor.
everyone. Johnny, can we have some
Because-
outro music?
Oh, geez, put them in. What do we want? Game show.
The game show. Well, we're among friends. How about the Friends theme song?
Oh, geez. So say.
There we go. So as he's playing, thank you again, everybody, and we will see you online. Bye, everyone.
Take care, everybody.